Shalom, shalom, everyone in the classroom. Shalom. Shalom. Shabbat shalom to the 12 tribes scattered abroad. Shabbat shalom, another Sabbath service, giving all honor and glory to Yahweh, by Shema Mashiach Malak Yahushai. Double honors to the elect elders of the house of David that's been in this truth for decades and decades, patiently waiting for the second coming of Yahushai. A hearty shalom to you mighty men that go out there and labor and do the work of the Most High, presenting your body as a living sacrifice, enduring all things for the elect's sake, pushing this truth and magnifying the ministry. Shalom. Shalom to all of the men that may not be out there in the highways and byways as of yet, but they're working on it. They're getting built up in the spirit. They're praying, fasting, studying, being diligent and abounding in the work of the Lord. Shalom to all of the Akwaf out there, the sisters, married and unmarried, keeping the law, statutes, and commandments, on fire, reverencing their husbands, being diligent. Shalom to those sisters as well.
Shabbat shalom, all praise to the Most High for another Sabbath, another day of repentance, another day of coming back to the law, statutes, and commandments, and magnify the name of the Lord. As we always do, we're going to go to Acts. Acts chapter 18 and verse 4.
This is the book of Acts, chapter 18 and verse number 4. And it reads, "And he reasoned in the synagogue every Sabbath, and persuaded the Jews and the Greeks."
Another Sabbath service to persuade those who know that they're Israel to continue in the law, the faith, the brotherly love, the charity, the alms, all things good towards the nation of Israel. And to those just finding out that they're Israel, to be at the church of Berea and search the scriptures daily to see what they were spoken is true. Right, to come back to serving our God, Yahweh and Yahushua. And the only way we can do this is through Philippians 4:13.
Let's go to the book of Philippians, the 4th chapter and the 13th verse. Philippians chapter 4 and 13. "I can do all things through Hamashiach, which strengtheneth me."
Right, so through the power of Yahweh and Yahushua, we're able to cast down all this false doctrine, stand 10 toes down for strong and bright and powerful doctrine through the Spirit of the Lord, right? And edify the nation of Israel, all through the Spirit of the Lord, right? When you're moving in the name of the Lord, there's nothing you can't do, man. Nothing in righteousness you can't do, right? So I want to get a precept before we start, right? Let's go to Sirach chapter 39 and verse 1, right? Sirach 39 and 1, man. Like the title said, we got to stop this sexual deviancy and perverseness in Israel, man. A lot of people moving in the lust of their flesh, right? They want to fulfill the lust of the flesh rather than doing what the Father told you to do, right? Sirach chapter 39 and verse 1.
This is the book of Ecclesiasticus, chapter 39 and verse 1. And it reads, "But he that giveth his mind to the law of the Most High, and is occupied in the meditation thereof, will seek out the wisdom of all the ancient, and be occupied in prophecies."
Right, so if you keep your mind fixated on the things that please the Lord, right, you're going to avoid the things that please the flesh, right? You're not going to try to fulfill your wants and desires. You're going to fulfill what the Lord commanded you to do, right? So it's always profitable. It's always beneficial to resort to the law, right? Also, we can go to 1 Corinthians 6 and verse 1, right? All things resort back to the law, man. Because if you love the Lord, what you going to do? You're going to keep his commandments, right?
It's the book of 1 Corinthians, chapter 6 and verse number 1. "Dare any of you, having a matter against another, go to the law before the..."
If you have a matter against a brother, you go to the law to find out how to deal with it in righteousness, man. You go to the law. Can you start back where you left off at?
1 Corinthians chapter 6 and verse 1 from the top. "Dare any of you, having a matter against another, go to the law before the unjust and not before the saints."
Right. So we got to go to the law to stop this perverseness that's going on in Israel. We got to go to the law to correct those who are not wise enough to understand. Right. That's the whole purpose of being a watchman, man. We got to watch over our brothers and sisters to make sure they're not falling for ungodly doctrines, not following for men who want to talk and reach out to those who have itching ears, right? So I'm going to let Nakman go ahead and edify what we're about to go into.
So to add on to what the brother Amos is going into, there's a lot of confusion and madness going on in Israel. Let's go to 1 Corinthians 14 and 33. People are trying to dictate, making up their own idea of what marriage is, what divorce is, what you can put away a wife for, why you can't put away a wife. Can a woman have 3 husbands? Maybe you have to, there's a lot of confusion going on, man. You know? So now we have to come up, we kind of went into it on a cold cut, but now we got to kind of go into it again. We thought it was over with, you know. We got a phone call earlier. Brother said, it's, you know, something, he heard some stuff. We had to clear it up. They said, no, it's not like that. So we have to kind of make this thing known in public, man. The Lord said, what you hear in secret, proclaim upon the housetops, man. You know?
The book of 1 Corinthians chapter 14 and verse 33. For Yahweh is not the author of confusion, but of peace, and as in all churches of the saints. That's it on the count.
Right, so the Lord is not the author of confusion. Everything is going to be done decently and in order. Man is the author of confusion. False doctrine, they're the author of confusion. The word author means the beginner. Not like a publishing from Barnes and Nobles. An author is the beginning. Who's going to start the confusion? Is it the Most High? No, he doesn't start confusion, man. Last time I checked, we went into the law, things were plain upon tables. Right? The Lord told Habakkuk, write the vision, make it plain upon tables, that he may run that and read it. So if the Most High is not the author of confusion, it's coming through the spiritual demon Satan influencing man to see things in the Bible that are not there. Opening up the same scriptures you see, like brothers are teaching that chariots don't exist. Brothers are teaching all types of madness in Israel because why? Satan is working on brothers' minds in the last days, man, and giving them over to vanity, you know?
Let's go to Ecclesiasticus chapter 34 and verse 8. Right, like the brother was saying, man. People teaching that the woman can leave their husband because he's spiritually dead. Right, there's no such thing as that, man. These are doctrines of devils, man. You got to avoid these in the last days, right? And all that can be cut just by going to the scriptures, right? Going to the law, going to what Moses commanded Israel through the spirit of Yahweh Shem Yahushua, right?
Sirach chapter 34 and verse 8. The law shall be found perfect without lies, and wisdom is perfection to a faithful mouth.
Right? So the law is going to be found perfect without lies, man. There's no flaws in the commandments. Right? We went into this earlier. Baruch 4:1. This whole book is the commandment of the Lord. Right? So the law is found faithful without lies, man. It's found perfect. Right? So with that, we're going to go into the lesson.
Yeah, let's go into it. So the first topic we want to touch on is, can a woman put away her husband or divorce her husband because he is spiritually dead? So let's tackle that topic. Can a woman put away or divorce her husband because now he is spiritually dead? And can she marry another man? Right? Brothers may say, well, no. Some brothers may say yes. Well, some brother may be inclined to believe a certain thing. Let's go to Romans chapter 7 and 1. Right? Let's go to that. Let's go to Romans, the 7th chapter and the first verse. Because that's a heavy thing going on. You got women putting away their husbands because their husbands, he may not be on fire like he used to be. He might have fell out a little bit, fell out the truth. And now they're saying, okay, now he fell out the truth. Now he can marry another man in the truth. We have to see if this thing is true or not. You have brothers that teach when a woman comes into a congregation, she has to leave her husband and marry a man in the congregation. And they say if you don't do that, you're not going to make it to the kingdom.
You're not written in the book of life.
Yeah, you're not written in the book of life. And vice versa. They teach when men come into the congregation, they have to leave their wives and get with a woman in the congregation. Get with the Proverbs 31 woman. So we have to clear up this confusion. Like the brother said, it's plain. Right? It's not going to be a 3-hour lesson. It's plain upon tables.
This is the book of Romans, chapter 7 and verse 1. Know ye not, brethren, for I speak to them that know the law, how that the law hath dominion over a man as long as he liveth.
Yeah, that's plain. As long as you're alive, you're in subjection to the law. Now, Paul is using this in a metaphoric way to talk about the old covenant and the grace of Yahushua, the new covenant, right? And sin and bondage and liberty. But in a carnal aspect, As long as we are alive, we have to keep the law, right?
Verse 2, for the woman which hath an husband is bound by the law to her husband, so long as he liveth, but if the husband be dead, she is loosed from the law of the husband.
See that? It says the woman which hath an husband is bound. That word bound means attached. Like if you handcuff to somebody, you see a chain gang, they're bound one to another, man. They chopping up bricks and turning big rocks to little rocks, they're bound one to another. Why? Because they're one flesh. As long as your husband is alive, you are bound to that man. Rather y'all live 300 miles apart, or rather he went off and did A, B, and C, or you went off outside of adultery, y'all are still bound, man. That it didn't say as long as he's spiritually alive, right? Because you can be with a man and he may not know the truth, but you know the truth that if you lie down with a man, you're still married to that man. Does that mean that you're no longer married to a man if you know that sex is marriage and he doesn't know? No, you're still married to that man. So it has nothing to do with a man being spiritually alive and being spiritually dead. That doesn't dictate your marriage. What does dictate your marriage? Once you lie down with that man.
God. And this is the importance. Let's get Sirach chapter 6 and verse 7. Right? This is the importance of being patient in this thing, man. Right? That's part of the fruits of the Spirit. Being patient, man. Right? You can't be so quick to say that man knows precepts. Right? He's tall. He got locks. He got braids. His beard is mighty. Right? This is why the scriptures say this.
Ecclesiasticus chapter 6 and verse 7. It reads, but it's like, if thou wouldest get a friend, prove him first.
What?
Prove him first.
You have to prove that person first, man. Israel's so quick to want to hop into marriage. So quick to want to be called by somebody's name that you don't know. Right? And then now we got all these situations. Got people DMing me. Yo, my wife don't want to keep the Sabbath. Oh, she's wicked. I want to. No! You have to prove this person first. Right? Doesn't Revelation 14 and 12 say the patience of the saints? Right? Aren't we all the saints? Don't we have to be patient? We got to take our time in this thing, man. Marriage is forever. Right? Once you lay down with that person, that's your husband or that's your wife, man. You have to be patient in this thing. You got to take the time to know this person, man. Because there's no, I'm sick of the way this person makes eggs. Right? It's always running. Right? They snore at night.
They're getting fat. Yeah, they're getting fat.
Right.
Right? They're not the person they used to be. Their hairlines, they start losing their hairline. I don't want to be with him because his brother got a hairline. Right? Or my husband knows, this guy knows more scriptures than my husband, so I can put him away. No, this is it, man. Right? Hey, that's the classic. Everybody knows that in the world with the Most High joined together, what? Let not man put asunder.
Right.
Because the Most High, what are you going to interrupt with the Most High? That's off, man. Here you have the Most High appointed you with that woman, but you got the right to come in and kind of cut that thing down. You know, only the Most High could break that thing apart, man. Based off of the law. I want to finish that verse. That's Sirach 6 and 7. If thou wouldest get a friend, prove him first, and be not hasty to credit him.
Right. So you can't be hasty to credit somebody just because of what you think of them, what your perception is of them. Right? Perception is what you see. Right? It's always three sides to a story. You got your side, their side, and the truth, man. So you got to take the time to prove, to see if you want this sister to be your wife, if you want this man to be your husband. That's important, man. Right? And no courting isn't 2 weeks. It isn't 3 months. You got to be long-suffering in this thing, man. Because you got to go through ups, downs, left, rights. Right? This is a very important matter. And to the unmarried brothers, take your time, man. To the unmarried sisters, take your time. There's no need to rush. There's no need to rush, man. Because then you're going to put yourself in I don't want to cuss, but a shitty situation. We'll say that. Put yourself in a situation where you can't come out of it, man. And that's what's going on now. Now people are in situations they can't get out of, and now they're trying to find loopholes in the law. But the law is perfect. There is no loopholes. It's thus saith the Lord. It's not thus what saith the man on Clubhouse. The brother who teaches on Instagram. It's thus saith the Lord. Because guess what? The law is perfect.
Yeah, and you gotta deal with it, man.
Right.
You gotta deal with it. And the Lord says in Luke, let's go to Luke chapter 14 and 28. Right? You have to prove a friend, man. Like the brother said, that's not a 2-week thing. Now you can do 2 weeks if you want to. Next thing you know, you stuck. It's over. Right? Brothers just be marrying a sister because she said shalom. She know a little bit of Hebrew. She said, how about Shnel Shai Brakatha, Ak? And you like the way she say Ak. Anybody can say Ak, man. You know? She got some fringes on. That's my wife right there. I'm going to get her. Hold on, brother. What do you mean? You don't know if she's keeping the commandments, what spirit she in. I'm a married. Next thing you know, she got 15 kids. Right? You moved out your house in haste. You quit your job. You from Delaware, you moved to California. Just in we're going to move in together. We in love. Then she really had a husband the whole time.
The whole time.
The whole time. You didn't prove it. You don't know her last name.
Deadbeat husbands do not count as dead.
Yeah, deadbeat husband doesn't count as dead. That means, in Romans 7, it means literally dead. So you got to know what's going on in this thing. I know a lot of people, they watch, they may get offended. Some people getting cut. Some people getting edified. But it's all profitable. Let's get that. Where we going?
14 and 28.
Come, let's bring it up the show.
Luke chapter 14 and verse 28. For what are you intending to build a tower sitteth not down first and counteth the cost, whether he has sufficient to finish it?
Yeah, that applies. You said what?
One of my favorite verses.
Yeah, that's one of my favorite verses too, man. Because that not only does that apply to truth, that applies in everything, man. Right? That applies in everything in your life. You have to count the cost. When you go to camp, you got to count the cost. You might get locked up, might get put to death. Your boss might see you. You might get jammed up. Anything might happen. You got to sit there and say, okay, look, me going to camp, am I ready for the negative things that may come with it? Am I ready to embrace the positive things that may come with it? If you don't count the cost and take into account the things that may happen, you would be a bad investor. Every investor that invests in companies, they count the cost, man. They invest in what year they did good in. Right? They had 3 good years. You know, the stock was paying off. They invest in stuff like that, man. And they do that stuff diligently, man. People that are into digital currency and all that stuff, they literally sit there and analyze every nook and cranny before they purchase something, man. And that's how you have to be in this truth. Not only you're going to camp, but also in a marriage. You have to sit there and count the cost. Am I ready to get into it? And we married, so we can talk about it. It's not like when we single. Right? Brother's been married for years up here, man. You know, maybe not 35, 40 years. You know what I'm saying? But we still, you know, we can still talk about it, man. Right? So the point is, are you prepared to count the cost? Arguments, damn financial woes, butthead, like the butler said, you don't like the way that she starts snoring, you never knew about it. She tell you, pick up your towel, put this, right? Why don't you put the cup right here? You normally put the cup over here, now she want the cup over here. Now it's an argument, because you put the cup over there, and they got the little ring around it. Right? It's madness, man. Are you able to count the cost? Woman, are you able to count the cost? He's sitting there correcting you with the scriptures. Are you able to take that correction? Or are you going to buck up against it? You got to count the cost in this thing. A lot of people, you got to know what you're signing up for, man. You know? We can read on, King, just a little more of that. So that tower is your marriage, and they got to be built upon a rock. And you can't move in haste. If you move in haste, it's over.
Verse 29. Least happily after he had laid the foundation.
Yeah, you lay the foundation. Then you might marry that woman. You might be married to her for about a year or two. You know, maybe 6 months. You think you in love. You got your honeymoon stage, right? You going off. You got work, but your lunch break, you driving home, right? To spend your lunch break with your wife. Y'all newlyweds. You introduced your families to one another, right? You sending her bears. She might be at her workplace. You order her flowers in the bear, right? She get it at her cubicle. She's smiling. That's my man. The coworkers, oh, you got a good man.
The honeymoon phase.
Yeah, the honeymoon phase, man. You came back from Tijuana. You understand with your fringes on. Yeah, you laid the foundation, but what?
Laid the foundation and is not able to finish it.
Finish what?
And is not able to finish it.
Read.
All that behold it begin to mock him, saying this man began to build and was not able to finish.
See that? People gonna mock you, man. This man began to build on his marriage and was not able to finish. You gotta stop DMing everybody, man. Married women be DMing brothers. You know? Hey, a married woman DM'd me. I said, ain't you married? She said, well, yeah, but my husband's not as spiritually inclined as you. So what is going on in Israel, man? What does that mean? You know? And then be doing the same thing. Oh, your husband not in my cap. He's really not the truth. And sis be like, oh, God. Yeah, that makes sense. Send me one of your videos, and she be watching the videos, ducking off in the basement. Tomorrow I got a phone call from Auntie, checking his videos out, taking notes. So you got to be able to finish this thing. You got to prove a friend.
God. Let's go to the classic, the 1 Corinthians 14 and 40, man. Right? The first thing to establishing a friendship in a marriage is establishing it on the foundation of Yahweh Hashem Yahushua. Right? If it's not rooted and grounded in the works of the Lord, it's going to fall. Right? If the Lord isn't first in your marriage, it's going to fall, man. I'll be the first to tell you that. Right? And I know brothers who will tell you that, man. And I got one more after this. Right? 1 Corinthians 14 and 40. Let all things be done decently and in order, man. So the role of the husband in the household is to get everything in order, man. That's your domain. That's your counsel. So everybody living in your counsel must follow by your rules. And what rules should they be following? The law, statutes, and commandments. Right? Let's go to, I'm going to hold this. Let's go to Proverbs 31 and we're going to go to 3. Because a lot of people be building their foundations off of looks, off of smells, right? Off of sweet tongue, right? Somebody can say some eloquent things and have you mind blown, right? You know, what's the dude back in the day with the bald head? He used to be on all the talk shows. What's his name? Dr. something.
He a Jake?
Yeah, he a Jake.
The dude with the earring.
He got the ear. I think
Martel.
No, not Martel.
Okay.
Muhammad something. Dr. Khalil Muhammad, I think that was his name. Okay. He was in the truth. Real eloquent with his speech. He could say anything, man. Talk a scammer and the scammer himself. Right? A lot of people listen to him, man. You can't fall for things like that. And men, you can't fall for looks. Right? Proverbs chapter 31 and verse 3. Give not thy strength unto woman, nor thy ways to that which destroyeth kings, man. Brothers, don't go chasing after a woman because she's beautiful, man. Yes, Eve is beautiful. Right? The Most High did his thing when he made Eve. But beauty is vain. Beauty is what leads to a lot of destructions, man. Right? You got to find a woman who fears the Lord, who knows order, who knows how to run the household, because once you're not there, she the manager, right? You got the CEO, which is the man, the wife is the manager, and we'll say the kids are the employees, right? That's how you got to look at it, man. So when you're not home, you got to have a wife who's going to build up the house. She's going to have things in order. She's going to have things taken care of. Right? Stop giving your lust over to women that look good, man, because beauty fades away, man. Everybody going to get old if the Lord allows you to. And yes, when you get old, you don't look the same as you did. But that doesn't matter, man. If you keep the commandments of the Lord and you build your marriage around the Lord, it don't matter how your wife looks, because you love her because she's a daughter of Zion and she loves the Lord. That's what we got to start building these marriages around. This is what the foundation's got to be. Keeping the Lord first.
Yeah, and this all prevents brothers trying to find loopholes in the law to put away their wives, and wives trying to put away their husbands, man. Right? I was going to say, in the truth, the divorce rate might be higher than the divorce rate in the world, man. People in the truth, you know, they get divorced every second, man. People commit adultery at a phenomenal rate. We get inbox, DMs, all on social media, Instagram. What do I do? How can I leave my husband?
All day long.
Especially on the emails. How do I leave my husband does so-and-so? Can I leave him? Well, when he did this, can I leave him? Then next week, when he did this, can I leave him? No, you can't leave him because he didn't fold the towels. Right? No, he didn't do that, man. Because he said you can't hang out with your girlfriends. You can't leave them. Like they had that on Instagram. My husband said he don't love me. Because he said she couldn't go to the casino. Yeah, she's like, you see that? He don't love me.
I'm finally getting a divorce.
Yeah, that's off, man. Let's go to Tobit chapter 8 and verse 7. All right, let's go to Tobit chapter 8 and 7. Jake, you're supposed to be a new creature in this thing, man. Jake coming to the world, to the truth with the same mentality in the world, man. There was a brother, real quick, a brother told me, I'm not gonna put the names out there, but he was courting his sister. He was in Tennessee, and she was in Hawaii. Now they was courting, and he flew the sister out. Flew her out. He flew the sister out. Now the sister came out and they kind of did something. I'm not gonna go too deep into it, but they didn't lay down together, but they kind of did something. Now he said that was charity. I'm sending her back to Hawaii, right? So that's what's going on. People are calling things charity now. He said I chalk it up as charity. And he went to 1 Corinthians chapter 13. So she had to go back to Hawaii. She had her head down, right? So let's go to Tobit chapter 8 and 7.
Tobit chapter 8 and verse 7. And now, O Lord, I take not this my sister for lust, but uprightly. Therefore mercifully ordain that we may become aged together. And she said with him, Amen.
So they was both with it, man. Tobiah said, I take not this woman out of lust. There's a lot of one-night stands in Israel, man. It's a whole lot of one-night stands. That Airbnb spirit, hotel spirit, man. Fly out, get the Airbnb. Fly out, get the hotel. You got the telly. You get the wine. Y'all drinking. Then you lay down together. Then you hate her, man. Like Amen and Tamar. It was a big lust bubble. And after he laid down with Tamar, he really raped her. But after he did that, it said he hated her, man. Because a lot of times, once that lust fade away, ain't nothing there. You get caught in that lust, and there's no foundation, like the brother said, it's over, man. All them good looks and that demon, that lust demon pop off of you, and next thing you know, you stuck. And y'all looking at each other, and you gotta deal with it. And you're trying to find a way to get out of it, man. I got another precept real quick. Let's go to Sirach chapter 37 and verse 1. All right, let's go to Ecclesiasticus chapter 37 and verse 1. Right? It reads, every friend saith, I am his friend also. But there is a friend which is only a friend in name. Meaning what? Some people might say they're your friend, but they just want to say it. It sounds good. But you haven't proved that person. So if all hell break loose, if you get into an argument, or you might be poor, you might be evicted, you might need help, whatever the case may be, you need the brother to pray for you. He's just a friend in name. Like the infinite people on your friends list on Facebook. Are those really your friends? That's what it means, a friend in name. Your second grade teacher, right? Your buddy from middle school who used to throw the spitballs at the ceiling. He's still your friend. That's a friend in name. Now, is he going to pray for you when you're down and out? Is he going to, can you hit up your second grade friend from Facebook, number 3000, and say, hey, Ak, I need you to pray for me? Can you fast? No. So you have to make sure that the person that you're dealing with is not just a friend in name. Oh, that's Amos. I got to talk to Amos. He has to be mighty, man. He's tall. He got a beard. Look at his hair wrap. Oh, my gosh. He got women on the comment board, man. You know, women used to do that on the comment board, man. Sending heart emojis. Now, what if Amos was a nigga, man? Just because Amos is on camera being righteous, what if, not that he is, but what if he was a nigga behind camera, man? There's brothers like that in this world, but they might be, you know, the camera rolling, they might be super righteous. As soon as the camera rolling, they damn smoking the blunt, huh? You know, let me read on. Sirach chapter 37 and verse 2. It reads, is it not a grief unto death when a companion and friend is turned to an enemy? So you might be dealing with a woman, now y'all are enemies. That's a grief. Grief is depression. You can be with somebody, you moved out of lust, and now you're depressed because you can't escape. Now y'all got one back. Y'all used to have a master bedroom and a king-size bed, and now both y'all got 2 twin-size beds. One on this side of the wall for you, one on that side of the wall for her. Right? She got her lap, you got your lap. He say turn the light up. Huh? What'd you say? You get up, and they sitting there arguing from both sides of the bed. Y'all turned into enemies.
God. So like it was a Tyler Perry movie. I think it was called Why Did I Get Married? With Jill Scott. You saw how awful those people's marriages were?
Right.
That's exactly what the scripture is talking about, man. Infidelity, lying, cheating, blaming one another. That's exactly what this is speaking about, man. Right? The person that you loved for that one night turned to the person that you hate forever, man. And that's happening a lot in Israel, man. Take your time. Take your time and prove that friend. Take your time to see, because there's a lot of things, brothers, that you don't know that you don't like until somebody do it.
Right.
Right? I know when I was younger, my pops used to shake his head at me. You know that, what are you doing? I used to be like, oh man, that's the worst feeling in the world. Then I start coming out here and people shake their head at me, I'll be ready to wring their neck, man. Because you're not my dad, I can wring your neck. But that's the thing, you know, that's what I'm saying. The things that you don't realize that you don't like until you start to see it over and over and over and over. And then it's that love you had turns to hate. Right? It turns to animosity. You start to despise that person. Right? They don't chew with their mouth closed. Right? They wear that perfume that smells too strong.
Yeah, now your woman, she start farting, burping. You like, what the hell, man? She using the bathroom, the bathroom stink. You like, hey, who is this?
The door open.
Yeah, the door open. All right, you gotta take a shower. She in the bathroom. Hey, man, you gotta look a lot. I'm putting you away. I didn't know you did that. What do you mean? You know, a lot of brothers that really don't know. It's not a Disney movie, man. Marriage is not a fairy tale, man. This thing is real, like they say, man. This stuff get real. You know? You got something else? I want to finish. Let me get this next verse. Sirach, I'm going to read 2 again. Sirach 37:2. Is it not, and this is the reason why people are trying to find a loopholes in marriages, man. Because it all go back to what the brother brought out. You do not prove that person. You know? Is it not a grief unto death when a companion and friend is turned to an enemy? O wicked imagination, whence camest thou to cover the earth with deceit? There is a companion which rejoiceth in the prosperity of a friend, but in the time of trouble he will be against thee. And you might deal with somebody when you lay down with them, but they with you when you up. But when you down and out, they're nowhere to be found. You might get into it, man. You might get fired from your job, and now she's talking to other dudes. Because that money not coming in like it used to. She's not getting them goodies. And all them hair wraps and dresses and stuff that she like, she's not getting it, but she's going to find somebody that got it. Why? You didn't prove her, man. You didn't know that she was a gold digger. You didn't know that she was just after your money, right? Even, it could be not even financial, it could be spiritual, man. A brother might be catching demons in the world. Jake deal with a lot in the world, man. Demons at camp, evil spirits at work, all types of hell, man. And man don't really like to confess what they really deal with. But Jake deal with a lot. You know? Why you not in the spirit? Right? Why you all moping around? Nigga, smile. Right? Hey man, the Lord said a woman that will not comfort her husband and distress. I'm paraphrasing it, but basically the Lord frowns upon a woman that doesn't comfort her husband in distress and makes weak hands and feeble knees. You got to be able to know the woman that you're dealing with, is she going to be able to comfort you in distress, man? Or is she going to mock you and laugh at you and get on the phone with her girlfriend and say, this nigga can't keep a job. I'm moving back in with my mother. Right?
And to be honest, man, every man isn't worth submitting to for sisters. Every man is not worth submitting to, right? And the more you deal with that man, you start to see that, right? I'm not saying if that's your husband, you have to, but you don't have to stick around if you're dealing with abuse, right? You don't have to. We're gonna deal with that in a second. You don't have to stick around if you're dealing with a whole bunch of wickedness, right? There's not loopholes, but there's outs. The Lord's not going to make you stay there and get beat to death. Right? The Lord's not going to make you stay there and get antagonized to death. Right? We're going to deal with that. But I wanted to get verse 5 in this verse, and I wanted to get a precept. It says, there is a friend which helpeth his friend for the belly and taketh up the buckler against the enemy. Right? So you got that friend who wants to be around just to help their own belly. Right? You got that friend who's just there, right? Hey man, I know Naquan got precepts. I'm gonna hang around him. Every time he says something, I'm gonna use that precept when nobody's around like it's my own. There's people like that, right? There's people who got money. Yo, this is my best friend, and they breaking them off some money, right? Forget not thy friend in thy mind, and be not unmindful of him in thy riches, right? Salaki. Yeah, we can stop right there. But that's what you gotta remember. Then you got that person who's gonna fight it for you against the enemy, man. Right? You got that person, and that's supposed to be your wife. She's supposed to be your number one defense. Right? Let's go to Sirach 25 and verse 1. Right? She's supposed to be that defense that you go to, that pillar of rest. The one who eases your mind from dealing with captivity day in and day out. Right?
Sirach chapter 25 and verse 1. In 3 things I was beautified, and stood up beautiful, both before the Most High and men. The unity of brethren, the love of neighbors, a man and a wife that agree together.
Right? That's beautiful in the sight of the Lord. Right? A man and a wife that agree together. Right? You gotta, Amos 3 and 3, can 2 walk together lest they be agreed? No, you gotta be able to find that woman that you're able to connect with deeper than just physical, right? You gotta be able to laugh at the same things, right? Just sit down and have a conversation, right? It's a lot of marriages where you can't sit down and have a conversation, right? They can't stand to be in a room with each other, right? Who did that? The Lord did it because y'all rushed into things and the Lord didn't set it up from the foundation, right? Let's go to Ephesians chapter 5. We can start at verse 20, right? So this marriage thing is serious, man. It's not just a title. It's not just something that Jagged Edge was singing about. Right, this is life or death right here.
Ephesians chapter 5 and 20. Giving thanks always for all things unto the Most High and the Father in the name of our Lord Yahweh Shah HaMashiach.
Right.
Submitting yourselves one to another in the fear of the Most High.
Right, so you got to submit yourselves one to another after you prove that person in the fear of the Lord. Right, you got to submit yourself to that woman got to submit to you. Right, not bowing down and kissing her feet, but giving her honor as being the weaker vessel, man. She's called by your name, so you have to, don't every man in here want a good name? Your wife is part of your name. So you got to make sure your wife is being upheld in the standard that you want your name to be held in. Right, men don't think about it in that aspect. Right, the house of Amos conducts themselves as such, but if my wife is doing something in a different manner, that's a bad light on you. Right? Brother Dennis conducts himself in a certain manner. If his wife doing something that's conducting him bad, that's a bad name on you. So you got to submit yourself to the fear of the Lord to one towards another, man. That's very important. Right? You don't want to bring a bad name to the Lord. So you got to walk circumspectly in this thing, especially in marriage.
Verse 22. Wives, submit yourselves unto your own husbands as unto the Lord. For the husband is the head of the wife, even as Hamashiach is the head of the church, and he is the savior of the body.
Right? That's a heavy verse, man. Oh, come, you got it.
Yeah, I was going to say, man, so, this is the just balance. The man has to play, or the man has to understand that his wife is a weaker vessel, and the woman has to understand that she has to submit to her husband as she would unto Yahweh Shah. Right? And that's a heavy thing right there. Imagine living with Yahweh Shah. You think if the Lord asks you to do something in the house, you're going to sit there and say, you're going to be destroyed, man. You ain't even say no, you just did it. Or you thought something wicked in your head. Or you get it. I did it last time. Right? Do A, B, and no, man. So you have to submit it to your husband like unto the Lord, man. And the Lord is watching these things. You know?
I was going to grab a precept while we stepped away from that. This is Proverbs 14 and 1. Every wise woman buildeth her house, but the foolish plucketh it down with her hands. Right? How do you build your house? Right? Who's the head of the house? The husband. You uplift the husband. Right? You provoke him to good works. Right? Put that fire under his ass. You know what I mean? Right? When the last time you made a video? When the last time you prayed? Right? I'll put myself for example. The reason I got out there teaching was because of my wife. She said, you watching all these videos, you need to be out there. I said, damn. So I thought about it for a night, I'm like, she don't know what she talking about. Thought about it again. Like, you know what? I just got cut, man. I'm sitting here shaking my head at myself, and I hate that, right? I can't stand that. So you got to provoke your husband to good work. You see he's falling short on something, be the one to lift him up. Be that pillar of rest, right? Uplift him. Submit yourself to him. Same way you want to magnify the name of the Lord, you should want to magnify the name of your husband, right?
Right.
So like it was, I want to get verse 2. Okay. He that walketh in uprightness feareth the Lord, but he that is perverse in his ways despises him, right? So if you're a husband, you're going to walk in the ways of the Lord, of honoring your wife as the weaker vessel, loving her as Yahweh shall love the church, right? But if you perverse in your ways, you're going to despise the church, right? You're going to destroy the church. You're going to destroy the temple of the Lord. And what the Lord say he's going to do to the man that destroyed the temple of the Lord? He's going to destroy you.
Come. Yeah, and this is a perfect balance and perfect order right here, man. The husband is supposed to love his wife as Yahweh shall love the church, man. See that? And the Lord died for the church. The Lord taught the church. The Lord didn't come on the scene to destroy men's lives. That's Luke 9:54 and down. Right? A lot of men, they come into the truth and they want to beat up their wife, man. Spiritually and physically. Why you don't do this? Shut up. Get up. You getting your wife up at 6 in the morning. What's Proverbs 31:5 say? She got sleep. You're wrong. You're always wrong. Oh, brother. Brother, relax, man. You gotta love your wife as, let me get that Luke chapter 9. You gotta love your wife as the Lord loved the church, man.
You're always wrong.
Yeah. Let's go to Luke chapter 9 and 56. Straight to the point. Luke 9 and 56. For the Son of Man is not come to destroy men's lives, but to save them. And they went to another village. So you're here to save your wife, man. To bring her closer to Yahweh Shah. That's the purpose of man, man. To be a guide for your wife, man. Not to get her high, entice her to go off. That's why you got wives in Israel. I mean, brothers taking paternity tests now in Israel, man. Waiting to get the results because they trying to figure out what they women doing, man. Women going off, men waiting on the results. This thing is getting out of control in Israel, man. So the Lord came to save men's lives. So like Yahushua came to save the church, man, when he came on the scene. All right, he taught, like I said, he taught Israel. He even disciplined Israel, man. Right, verbally, you understand? And the Lord built us up to the level where we're going to be presented as a bride for that marriage day, man. Pursuant to the book of 2 Corinthians chapter 11 and 2. And the Lord proved Israel in the wilderness. Well, I don't have to prove. Show me prove it in the Bible. Then the Lord say, let me get that in Deuteronomy 8 real quick. So like you can. And Deuteronomy chapter 8. We'll go back to that. Let me get this real quick. This Deuteronomy chapter 8 and verse 2. And thou shalt remember all the way which the Lord thy God led thee these 40 years in the wilderness, to humble thee and to prove thee, to know what was in thine heart, whether thou wouldest keep the commandments or no. So you got to prove your wife to see what's in her heart, man. Whether she's going to really keep the commandments or not, man. You understand? And that proving, hey, the Lord had us in the wilderness for 40 years. Proving this for 40, brother's not going to do that now. Oh, I proved it. It's been 3 days. Right? Brother, you didn't prove her, brother. You don't know what's going on, man. So that's how the Lord did Israel, to see what was in our mind. You got to see not what's on the outward of the woman, like the brother went into. You have to see what's in her mind, man. Does she fear the Lord or not? Right? Is she going to reverence the Most High? If you say, look, let's go over some scriptures, is she going to buck up against it and say, I'm watching whatever Eve watches now, man? I'm on TikTok or something, man. Right? You got to see what's in her mind. If she constantly saying, nah, I'm on TikTok. Nah, we can study later. Well, now you might be like, okay, look, maybe this isn't the one. Right? And then you kind of move on. You know, and I want to say this too. When you courting, all that, I'm not going to take it there, but all that extra stuff, that's for when you married, man. A lot of people inboxing me, well, we did A, B, and C, we did this, we did that, we did this. Are we married? Can I put her away? Brother, you should only be doing those things with your wife, man. All this stuff is happening in Israel. It's a lot of madness going on. And brothers understand, I don't have to take it there, but you know what I'm talking about. You know?
To let me back on what the brother said about the Most High proving us for 40 years, I saw an article yesterday about Don Cheadle, right? He just married his wife, who's been his girlfriend for 28 years. 28 years, man. That's proving somebody right there. That's a long time, man. You know.
Yes.
Yeah, that's a long time. But let's go to Sirach chapter 4 and 29, right? And this is for the men. You got to be a man worth submitting to, man. Right? A lot of us grew up, right, with anger issues, not knowing how to deal with things, right? Acting off of emotions. Men don't act off of emotions in this truth, man. Right? Men use reasoning. They get counsel. They sit back and they think. What about women in the truth that talk to you crazy? We'll deal with that, King. Because that's a spirit, man. It's a spirit that go around, man. And you got to remember, you got to be long-suffering, forgiving, man. You go off and you want the Most High to forgive you. That's the same way that you want your wife to. You got to be towards your wife, man. Because the same way you coming out of the world, forsaking your old ways, she trying to do the same thing, man. Right? Sometimes she may get a spirit and say, F you, you B-A-N, whatever may happen, right? You know, that shouldn't be happening, but it happens, man. Right? That's why I got this. This is Sirach 4 and 29. Be not hasty in thy tongue, and in thy deeds slack and remiss. Right? So you can't be hasty in your tongue. When you're mad, you want to utter something crazy. Right? And you got to take time back, step back, and think about it, man. Right? Don't move in haste. Don't move in anger. Right? And if you say you're going to do something, do it, man. Right? Be that man that speaks on the things that the Lord allow you to do it, and you bring it to fruition. Right? Verse 30. Be not as a lion in thy house, nor frantic among thy servants, man. So men can't be ruling their house like dictators, man. Right? Don't be in there. Look, it's 1400 o'clock and you sitting down. Get up. How many push-ups you did? No, man. Talking about, I don't like my food like this, and you pick it up and throw it at the wall, man. Right? Don't be a lion in your house, man. Right? Be that king in the house that's easy. Be like King David. Right? He was the king among the people that everybody loves. Be like King David in your house, man. Be loving, kind, gentle. Right? Hold your wife's hand and show her how to be righteous, man. By example.
Yeah, they had this, quick point, they had this movie called Insecure. I'm not sure if brothers saw that. It was a low-budget Jake movie on Netflix, man. But that's what the brother would do, man. You had the brother, and he was married to in the movie, the woman from Smart Guy. The girl from Smart Guy, I can't remember her name. But they was married, and he would do that. She'll come in like 2 hours late. My dad always said you'll be late. And he's sitting there clocking it, man. He was smashing, put a tracker on her car. All types of stuff, man. Choking her up. You can't be dealing like that in your wife. That's a lion in your house, man. It's a time to be a lion. It's a time not to be a lion. It's all right to be a lion on the highways and byways. It's to be all right to be a lion amongst the heathen, huh? When you're doing the work of the Lord. It's a time to be a sheep. It's a time to be a dove. It's a time to be wise. It's a time to be a serpent and wisdom. It's a time to take on all of these attributes of nature through discernment, for lack of better terms. You have to have the discernment on when to morph into these different personas, man. Or when to apply the wisdom of these creatures. So when you're in your house, you shouldn't be acting around like a serpent and a lion, man. That's off. Right? 1 minute you a serpent, and you a fox. Yeah, y'all was shot called Herod a fox, man. You know? You want to be a man of wisdom. That's when it's time to be in your house. You're a man of wisdom, man. And applying the law, statutes, and commandments. Don't be smashing stuff. We know, Jake, you might get angry, but don't, you gotta kind of slow your roll, man. You know?
It happened to everybody.
Yeah, and Eve and Jake, you can't be doing that, man. She throwing plates at you. Y'all fighting, your neighbors hear it, they calling the police. You always got the police knocking your door. Is everything okay? No, just everything's all right, right? You got Jake calling the police on a woman, man. In the truth, getting them jammed up. And now they women doing a hard time, right? What? That's off, man. You had something about it?
Yeah, Mr. and Mrs. Smith.
Yeah, Mr. and Mrs. Smith, man. In the truth. So you got to be able to communicate, man. The Lord said to do good and communicate not, for with such sacrifices the Most High is well pleased. So that's the sacrifice in marriage. Communicate, man. Problems, things you may want out of your spouse, things that they may want out of you. You may not want to do it. It may be hard. And, well, I don't know how to bring it out. That's a sacrifice, man. Humbling down, and the Most High is well pleased at that thing, man. You know?
Now, it's a comment somebody made a while ago, right? And yes, there's a way out for sisters if they rushed into something and things aren't meant to be the way they're supposed to be. We can go to verse, we can start at 6, right? Right, yes, there's always a way out, man. There's always, the Lord's not going to have you there getting beat up, getting body slammed by your so-called husband, right? Because stuff like that happens, man. We got to be real, man. Everybody in Israel is not Israel, man. There's people who crept in unawares, right? Yes, there's a way out, but it's not always expedient, and sometimes it's very expedient, right? You got to be a discerner. You got to do things with counsel, man. You can't move in haste. Everything's got to be done in counsel, though.
Yeah, quick point, Salakia, before we read the verse. A lot of brothers, they find out that a woman got to be submissive, and they go to their head. Right. They take that, and they like, oh yeah, she got to submit to me. Right, shut up. Right, get up. You understand? Move. Grabbing her by her ear, doing so-and-so, plucking it. That's off, man. Right, that doesn't mean verbally and physically beat down your wife, man. Right. You know? And that doesn't mean, wife, you submit to him whooping your ass, man. Or, you know, I'm not going to tell, so I have to submit to him, right? That's off, man. You gotta be able to have an outlet, reach out, you understand? Speak and confess and see what's going on so brothers and sisters can help one another, man. You don't want to feel like you're alone in this thing, man. Nobody should feel like they're alone, you know? That's the beautiful thing about congregations and camps, man, where sisters can talk to one another, brothers can talk to one another, and that's the purpose of gathering together, man. You know? It's like, what are you gonna go to Esau and pay $1,500 a session for a marriage therapy, and he's showing you pictures and say, what do you think about this? Right? No, man, you gotta go to the scriptures, man. That's we went into that earlier, 1 Corinthians 6:1 on down.
Right, so like we were saying, like the brother was saying, right? You're not going to sit there and let things happen that don't need to be happening, man. If you know it's not right to be in it, it's not healthy, what they say, it's toxic, right? This is what you got to do, right? It's 1 Corinthians 7, we can start at verse 6.
1 Corinthians, the 7th chapter, verse 6. But I speak this by permission and not by commandment. For I would that all men were even as myself. But every man hath this proper gift of God, one after this manner and another after that.
Right. So Paul was saying, man, I wish that all y'all was on fire as I was, man. Right, being a eunuch for the truth's sake. Right, he's saying, he's speaking this just for, you know, not a commandment, but he speaks it in permission. Like, man, I wish all of y'all was like, we would have been in the kingdom if all men were so diligent as Paul. Right? But you know we're not. We ain't nowhere close as that. We ain't even an ounce as on fire as Paul was, right? But this is what he says. And
a eunuch, like the brother said, you can make yourself a eunuch for the kingdom of heaven's sake. Right? We'll get to that later in Matthew 19, but meaning a brother that abstains from marital relationships because he's solely focused on the Most High.
So like, and 1 through verse 5 explains that. Not defrauding yourself one from another except for coming in the time of fasting and praying. Right? That's why he's speaking. We just didn't read that part. But that's why he said that.
Verse 1 Corinthians chapter 7 and verse 8. I say therefore to the unmarried and widows, it is good for them if they abide even as I. But if they cannot contain, let them marry, for it is better to marry than to burn.
Right. It's better to marry than to be crazy, lustful, and doing all X, Y, and Z with whoever, whenever, and wherever. Right? It's better to be married than to let your desires and your lust get you put to death, man. That's what he's saying. Right?
Yeah, a quick point, because a lot of jakes, man, I don't need no woman. I can do this. Brother, why do you do that every night then, brother? Right? Why you sitting there burning in your lust? Then you go around, brother, I don't need no woman. I got this, man. Hey, brother, why you keep ducking off, man? Well, yeah, man, you keep trying to talk to all of the women. Well, I don't need no wife, man. I got this. No, brother, you don't, brother. You know what you're dealing with, man. That's what the Lord means, burn. Just like Jake and Eve, man. Burn meaning you, that desire, man, to be with the man or be with the woman. Eve, I don't need no husband, right? I'm Esther. I'm Judith. Right? No, come on, sister. Right? I don't have to take it there, but you know, Eve goes through the same thing that Jake goes through, man. You know? So it's better to marry than to burn, man.
Verse
1 Corinthians 7 and
verse 10.
10. And unto the married I command, yet not I, but the Lord, let not the wife depart from her husband.
Right, you can keep on.
But, and if she depart, let her remain unmarried, or be reconciled to her husband, and let not the husband put away his wife.
Right? So if the wife decides to leave for unforeseen circumstances, either it's unbearable, something crazy's happening, right? They just can't get along, she got to remain unmarried as long as that man is alive. Right? As long as he's alive, you can't deal with another man. That's thus saith the Lord. He said, not I, but the Lord says this. Right? And that's the part that brothers got to realize, man. Yes, your wife can leave you. If you're not dealing in your household righteously, and the Lord put in her spirit to bounce, she can bounce and remain unmarried, man. Right? And then you're going to be judged for that, man. Because all hell about to break loose at any second on this earth, man. And that's somebody who's under your household, and you're not dealing righteously, and you're not looking over them. How you think the Lord going to deal with you? Because first and foremost, that's not your wife. That's a daughter of Zion. That's the Most High's possession. And you treating your wife like that? Woe to you. Death and destruction to you, man. In all honesty, man. If you're treating your wife like garbage, man, you get no sympathy from me, man. None. And I'm not going to sugarcoat it, man. May the Lord deal with you justly, how you deserve it, man. Because the Lord gave you a possession, a gift. You got favor from the Lord and you despising it? Man, you get no sympathy. You get nothing from me, man. And it's harsh words, man. But anybody who want to despise the gift of the Lord is smacking the Lord in the face. And I can't get down with that, man.
Now, it also says, I want to touch on the point of verse 10. And unto the married I command, yet not I, but the Lord, let not the wife depart from her husband. Now, now, a woman, like the brother said, a woman can leave her husband, right? But it can't be because he didn't do the dishes, right? It can't be over where he didn't fold the towels. It can't be over madness and folly. That's why it says, let not the wife depart from her husband, because y'all are one flesh. There has to be a circumstance where this God, rather your life is in danger, or a severe circumstance where he's threatening the children, or whatever the case, he's doing witchcraft and sorcery, or whatever the case may be. It can't be over a small matter, right? He didn't cut his hair the way you liked it. I'm leaving. No, the Lord said, let not the wife depart. But she can depart if there's a particular situation, right? Now, it says, also, let me read on. But, and if she depart, let her remain unmarried. So what does this mean? If she decides to part, let's say she's in a physically abusive relationship, and she decides to move in with her mother again, or her sister, or even get her own spot, that does not give her right to marry another man. She is not divorced. As long as that man, her husband, is alive, regardless of her situation, she's still bound to that man. That's why it's important to prove a person, right? Or the Most High could just, have a particular lot where your husband just goes the hell off, and that's the situation that you in for that time, right? It all depends, right? It all depends according to whatever the will of the Most High is, and we don't know the will of the Most High. We just know how to, explain these things to you, so to keep you from going off, right? It reads. I want to read that, it's like the fan turned the page, bear with me. 1 Corinthians 7 and 11. But if she depart, let her remain unmarried, or be reconciled to her husband. So that's the only person she can be reconciled to, right? She could leave and depart and kind of get it together, but they should try to work it out. You should try to come back together. That's the purpose of the reconciliation, because y'all are one flesh. You understand? Now, if it's something severe and you can't work it out, that's understandable. But if you decide to step away for whatever small reason, you might get into it. Right? Y'all should be reconciled one to another. You can't say, stay over there. I'm done with you. I'm putting you away. Right? And she can't say, I'm done with you, nigga, doing so and so. No, if it's a situation where it's not like threatening or severe, or you have to have that judgment or get counsel in that matter, then you should be reconciled to your husband. You understand? Marriage is supposed to be forever. Tobias said that we may grow old together. Hey, Tobit and his woman got into it, man. You know? Tobit, we don't have to really go too deep into it, but Tobit said, what's this? Where you get this kid from? She said, I got it from so-and-so. He said, well, no, you lying. She said, they do so-and-so. So they kind of got into it, man. Does that mean Anna and Tobit was wicked? No, these things happen, man. They happen all the time.
Verse 12. But to the rest speak I, not the Lord, if any brother have a wife that believeth not, and she be pleased to dwell with him, let him not put her away. And the woman which have a husband that believeth not, and if he be pleased to dwell with her, let her not leave. So like, let her not leave him. And so like, I got to get down. This, I get DMs all the time. My wife's not in the truth. She don't want to keep Passover. She doing this on the Sabbath. Right? No, you can't leave her, man. If she's pleased to dwell with you and she loves you, man, you can't put her away. Right? You got to be that example. You got to walk with light towards the Gentiles. Right? Be that example of what it means to be an Israelite to the unbeliever. Right? No, don't hit my DMs no more talking about she made this and she made that. She was doing this. I don't want to hear it, man. You don't know who the Lord going to wake up in these last days, man. Who would have thought you would have woke up in prior times? Right? Same thing with your spouse.
Yeah, I want to add to it. 1 Corinthians 7, verse 12. Salakia. But to the rest speak I, not the Lord. If any brother hath a wife that believeth not, and she be pleased to dwell with him, let him not put her away. So to add to what the brother said, she might not fully understand the truth. She might be in the world. But she want to dwell with you. You understand? She still wants to try to maybe work things out, or whatever the case may be. You can't say, well, since you're not the truth, I'm out. Like we said, you have congregations that teach that, man. Just put her away and get with a man in the camp. Right? Put your husband away, which is no scripture on a wife putting her husband away. A wife cannot put her husband away. Right? She can't write him a bill of divorce and give it in his hand and say, get out. No, where's that at in the Bible? But she can depart for a time, right? With the end goal to be reconciled if possible. Now, if she be pleased to dwell with him, he can't tell her kick rocks. You gotta kind of work that thing out, man. It's gonna tell you why as we read on. And vice versa. You might have a husband, he really don't know what's going on. That happens a lot in this world. Right? People emailing, my husband's not in the truth. My husband's he's going to church. Can I leave him? No, you can't. We're not going to tell you what you want to hear. Right? We're going to keep it raw with you, man. We're not those other guys, man. We're going to tell you straight up what the scriptures say, whether you like it or not, man. Can I be with you, my husband? No. Go work it out with your husband. Let's set up a marriage council. Let's get it rocking, man. You know?
So, and when we first started off, we went to the Most High is not the author of confusion. Right? That was the first precept we brought out. Right? So say the sister does depart. And you see how the husband's acting afterwards. He's not like, I got to get this right. I got to take care of my household. If he's saying it is what it is, he go about his life. Right? It's plain upon tables, man. The Lord made it plain upon tables. Right? Don't be naive in your thoughts thinking an old dog is going to have some new tricks, man. If he only know to sit and lay down, that's all he going to know. Right? If they showed you the actions previous times, once, twice, 3 times, 4 times, 100 times, the actions are going to be the same after you depart. Right? It's not going to be some Tyler Perry movie where babies in diapers and wings come down and y'all slow dancing to Joe. Right? That's not going to happen, man. He's going to be the same person he was if he's not changing his actions to show you he wants you home. Right? The Lord is not the author of confusion. He's going to make it plain upon tables to you whether that was a good decision, you got the proper counsel, or you know what, he gonna change his ways, right? It ain't no deep mystery, right? The Lord gonna show you, right? He gonna reveal those spirits to you in the time you need to see them.
Yeah, and counsel is beautiful, man. You have to have counsel in this thing, man. Sometimes you may not know how to handle a particular situation, right? Sometimes a brother may have been through something, or a sister may have been through something that you may not have been through. And you may try to make a move, and that move might be to your destruction because you have yet to reach out and get counsel. That's Sirach 32 and 19. Let me get that real quick. Let's go to Ecclesiastes chapter 32 and 19. It's okay to get counsel, right? Because you might, you know, like I used the petty example, he might not have put his towel back on the rack, right? Now you might say, I'm leaving him, I'm out. Now, you might want to get some counsel, sister. Hey, look, you know, there's so-and-so, nah, sister, why don't you let that go? You know that's petty. Yeah, you're right. I didn't think about it like that. And then don't get counsel from a sister that had 4 husbands, right? Yeah, leave them, right? Move in with me, because she need help paying her rent. So you got to know who you're getting counsel from in this thing too, man. Sirach chapter 32 and 19. Do nothing without advice, and when thou hast once done, repent not. See that? So do nothing without advice. Meaning what? Everything you do should be with advice. And don't regret it because you got advice, man. And don't repent not, meaning backtrack after you done did it with the advice. Right? And that applies to everything, man. Even before you marry a sister, man. Right? You might marry a sister, hey, her family might say, look, you ain't know she did A, B, and C. You kind of talk to her. That's what's the importance of meeting a father too, man. Because they want to tell you something about her that she ain't tell you. Yeah, watch out, she do A, B, and C. Well, hold on, she do that? Oh yeah, she ain't tell you that? She might have sisters, you know what I'm saying? You gotta kind of figure what's going on before you get married. You know? Talking to the father is good. She might have brothers, talk to the brothers. Before you marry her, man, they'll keep it raw with you. Nobody keep it more raw than your siblings, man. Yeah, this nigga, he do this, he do that, he don't do this. And she got to say, yeah, all right, well, I don't know. Right? Or, you know, her brother might say, yeah, she do this, she don't do this. And you got to take all that into consideration. So it's okay to get counsel even when you're proving a friend. You're supposed to really go to the father in this thing, man. You know, in the ancient world. Nowadays, you might be at the mall, get somebody's number, you know, got some Patron in the world, and you smoking weed. And then, you know, now you got a baby daddy. There's no baby daddies in Israel, man. Right? We shouldn't be saying, I'm another baby daddy. It's my baby father in Israel. And then you go to his profile, he got fringes on. We got to stop this worldly baby, damn world spirit, man. You know? That ghetto love spirit. We Israelites, man.
Somebody made a point, Matthew chapter 18 and 9, right? So pretty much that's speaking, right? If something's causing you to err, which is, say like your eye, your right hand, right? That could be one of your best friends, right? If they causing you to slip up, right? Get rid of that person, man. Right? Don't keep that person around if they're going to keep hindering you from getting deeper into this truth. That's all it's saying. Right? I mean, we can bring it out if Matthew 18 and 9. Let's get it. Let's get it anyway. Right? Because I saw it looked like it was troubling somebody on there. Matthew chapter 18, we'll start at 8. Right? Wherefore, if thy hand or thy foot offend thee, cut them off and cast them off from thee. It is better for thee to enter into life halt or maimed, rather than having 2 hands and 2 feet to be cast into everlasting fire. Right? That's not talking about if you got a little hand or your foot don't work. Right? That's talking about something that's your strength. Right? A good friend. Right? A cousin you close to. Right? Get that person far from thee so you can make it into life. Right? It's going to hurt, but it is what it is. You want to add to that?
No.
Okay, come on. We can go back to 1 Corinthians 7 and verse 14. 40.
Oh, I was going to read.
Okay, come on. 19 and 9. Matthew 19 and 9? Oh, so like, that's all 18. We'll deal with it after this.
1 Corinthians chapter 7 and verse 14. For the unbelieving husband is sanctified by the wife, and the unbelieving wife is sanctified by the husband. Else were your children unclean, but now are they holy. Meaning what? You might deal with a woman who may not really understand the truth, but she's sanctified through you. And the Lord can have mercy on her, right? If you're patient and merciful with her. And you don't put her out. And because if you cast her out of your house and she want to dwell with you, now them demons are going to work on her more, man. And cause her to fall out this thing. The Lord calls that giving somebody over to Satan. But the Lord can sanctify her due to the fact that you teaching her or guiding her, or the Most High can have mercy on her simply based off of the fact of how you're dealing with it. Right? And that can happen with the husband, and that can happen with the wife, who are both pleased to dwell with their husband and wife. Verse 16. For what knowest thou, O wife, whether thou shalt save thy husband, or how knowest thou, O Slakia? For what knowest thou, O wife, whether thou shalt save thy husband, or how knowest thou, O man, whether thou shalt save thy wife? Now, I want to jump down real quick. Let's jump to verse 25. Right? Let's jump to verse 25. 1 Corinthians 7 and 25. Now concerning virgins, I have no commandment of the Lord, yet I give my judgment as one that had obtained mercy of the Lord to be faithful. I suppose, therefore, that this is good for the present distress. I say that it is good for a man so to be. Art thou bound unto a wife? Seek not to be loosed. Art thou loosed from a wife? Seek not a wife. Meaning what? If you married, hey, look, don't be saying, what's the last days? I gotta find a way to get rid of my wife. I gotta get out of this thing, man. Right? I don't want to see what happens to Jacob Trouble. I gotta be solo. No, man. Are you loose from a wife? Seek not a wife. I mean, don't be, that shouldn't be your primary focus in the truth. Right? Rib hunting. You understand? Damn, going out trying to find a rib. I gotta get a rib. Need a rib. Right? It's supposed to be writing notes. You write down rib next to it. You thinking of baby names. I want to name my son so-and-so. Every time you get around brothers, you tell them what you want to name your son. All right? Brother, come on, man. Stop focusing on a wife, man. Focus on the Most High. First of all, wisdom is your first wife, man. You're supposed to be married to this truth. Because wisdom will leave you, man, and send you back into the world. But if you're dealing with wisdom, the Most High is going to honor that and bring you a wife according to the Spirit. You have some authority.
They got a group on Facebook called Hebrew Israelite Dating.
See, the Lord isn't dealing with that. Hebrew Israelite dating, man.
Yeah, Christian mingle.
Yeah, that Christian mingle site, man. eHarmony, the old nasty white guy. No Hebrew dating sites. What's your favorite this or that? Speed dating. What's your favorite book? Then you press the button, you get up. You deal with the next person. How long been in the truth? 2 months. Right? Then you press the damn buzzer and you moving around the table, man. That's folly. Right? Find a wife in the last days. Come on, brother. The Lord said, it says, seek not a wife. It says, but, and if thou marry, thou hast not sinned. Because a lot of brothers saying if you're getting married in the last days, you're going off. You got camps that teach that. Right? If you got a wife that's wicked, man. Where is that at in the Bible? We in the last days, what you mean you're getting married? Brother, if a brother gets a wife, it's not off.
It's a camp out here that says we in the time periods to not be having kids. Right? Where in the scriptures does it say don't have kids, man? Right? It says be fruitful and multiply, man. That's showing your lack of faith. Right? It's a camp out here that when they walk past a beautiful woman, they shout the name of the Lord and say, save her from me in the kingdom.
Or they say save her from me so I can take her in Jacob's trouble. They stop their lesson and they call upon the Lord and say, I want that woman for Jacob's trouble. And sometimes it's not even an Israelite. Might be a Moabite.
Somebody got caught up. Somebody said, I'm ashamed to say I'm in that group.
See that?
You got to get up out of there, man. This ain't Israelite dating 101.
Israelite confessions. This, Let me get a precept. So right, 7 and 26. Really 25. So right, 7 and 25. Marry thy daughter, and so shalt thou have performed the weighty matter, but give her to a man of understanding. So that shows you the father's supposed to give the daughter over. Not to Ray Ray, not the Mans, and Pookie and Devon, right, and Trey. No, man, to a man that's keeping the commandments. You know? Reading on. Hast thou a wife after thy mind? Forsake her not, but give not thyself over to a light woman. If you got, hey, look, hey, man, you got a wife after your mind, don't be beating yourself up at night. You can never have her. You can never. That's off, brother. Hey, brother, go talk to the sister, man. Right. If she's not married in righteousness, don't be beating yourself upside the head, man. I can never have a wife. Deuteronomy chapter 28, verse 15. Brother, go get you a wife, man. But don't give yourself over to a light woman. What's a light woman? Anybody know? No. You said what, King? A simple woman. A light woman is a simple woman. If you have a wife after your mind, give not yourself over to a light woman. Like you might want a car. You're not sitting there thinking about the car with 200,000 miles on it and the brakes all busted up. When you're thinking about a car, you want a new car. A car that runs well. Right? If you have a wife after your mind, you want a righteous wife keeping the commandments. Not just anybody, man. Because you burden in your lust. So that's what the Lord said in 1 Corinthians 7, but if you marry, you haven't sinned. You know, a lot of brothers are saying that you can't marry in the last days. So let's go back to that 1 Corinthians 7. 1 Corinthians chapter 7 and 28. But, and if thou marry, thou hast not sinned. And if a virgin marry, she hath not sinned. And nevertheless, such shall have trouble in the flesh, but I spare you. You say, look, you're going to get married. If you get married, you're going to get into it, but I'm not going to really go too deep into it. That's what it means, I spare you. I'm not about to explain all the troubles in the flesh. Because the 1 Corinthians would be damn 45 chapters. And Paul broke down all of the things that you deal with in marriage, man. He said, I'm going to spare you. If that's on your mind, you get married, you might have trouble in the flesh. You understand? But hey, I'm not going to go too deep into it. Verse. It's
that find out on your own spirit.
Yeah, find out on your own, man. Right? You go through that door, you see what's inside. Verse 30. 29, Salaki. But this I say, brethren, the time is short. It remaineth that both they that have wives be as though they had none, and they that weep as though they wept not, and they that rejoice as though they rejoice not, and they that buy as though they possess not, and they that use this world as not abusing it, for the fashion of this world passeth away. So he's reminding you the time you're living in. Yeah, it's okay, brother, if you get married, but remember the time is short, man. You're not going to really be able to enjoy your wife like you want to, because you're going to be focused on the work. You're going to be doing a lot of teaching. You're going to be exhorting the people. So you're not going to be able to apply Deuteronomy 24. We could take a whole year off. We're no business, man. We're not in those times. They that have wives be as though they had none. You know, like brothers in the military, they may be married, but it's like you don't see your wife. You don't hang out with us. Like, are you really married? Yeah, you are, but the occupation that you have limits the time that you have with your wife.
And when reading this, man, you got to know that the church of Corinth, they was off, man. They was wilding out. They was doing some things in there that they should have been doing. Yeah. So Paul, he kind of keeping it short, but he's stern with it, man. If you read it, you can be like, man, what is this stuff Paul talking about? Go do your history on it and see what they were doing, man. Right? So he's pretty much telling them, look, y'all got work to do, man. Ain't no time for the folly, ain't no time for the games. Right? The same stuff that's going on in the truth now was going on in Corinth. Right? All things that happened before, they happening again. There's nothing new under the sun. Right? So apply these things that Paul wrote. Right? Because we are those churches just back in the flesh again. Right. All over again. So we're going to try to finish this. Okay.
We're going to try to go through this, finish this chapter. Verse 32. But I will have you without carefulness. He that is unmarried cares for the things that belong to the Lord, how he may please the Lord. But he that is married careth for the things that are of the world, how he may please his wife. So keeping it plain, if you unmarried, you're more focused on the truth. When you're married, you have less time for the truth. Everybody knows that. Right? Now you have time. If you're a sin, take advantage of it, man. Take advantage of the time you get to pray. You get to fast more. Right? You have more time reading. You have more time studying. You have more time being diligent. You have more time on fire. Your main focus is the Lord. But now if you have a wife, you got to spend time with your wife. She may want to watch a movie. You got to watch a movie with her. She may want to go out to eat, kick it. You know what I'm saying? Now your time is now shifted to your wife. Right? Verse 34. There is a difference also between a wife and a virgin. The unmarried woman careth for the things of the Lord, that she may be holy, both in body and in spirit. But she that is married careth for the things of the world, how she may please her husband. So that works with women too. When women come to the truth, they should be focused on the husband. They should be focused on the truth. Focused on learning how to be a righteous woman. Focused on learning what their foremothers did. Because once you marry, and you got a kid, and you got another baby, you got another baby, ain't no more I'm fasting for 5 days. I'm going to get my 10 chapters in. No, you got one baby right here. Your husband need this done. Now your time is, limited, man. So take advantage of the time that the Most High is giving you and build yourself up for that marriage. Right? Read on. Verse 35. And this I speak for your profit, not that it may cast a snare upon you, but for that which is comely, and that ye may attend upon the Lord without distraction. Verse 36. But if any man think that he behaveth himself uncomely toward his virgin, if she pass the flower of her age, and need so require, let him do what he will, he sinneth not, let them marry. So a father may have a daughter, she may be at the age to marry, he may be in a predicament, do I want to give my daughter to marriage? Do I want her to focus on the Most High? If he gives his wife over to marriage, that's not, his daughter to marriage to a man, that's not a sin. Right? He doesn't have to sit there and say, damn, I went off, man, I should have had her focus on the Most High. No, you don't have to think like that, man.
So like, the age is not 12, man. It's not 12.
Or 8.
Or 8, man. Stop listening to these camps saying that 12 she becomes a woman, man. That's folly. That's a little girl, man. Right? I got a dude blowing up my DM. Is it a sin to be a pedophile? Is not a woman? Is she not a woman at 12? Man, get off my DMs talking about that, man. What are you talking about? That's not the age of the flower, man. Right? That's when she becomes a woman, when she's ready to be married. Right? Anywhere between 18 to 20, that's the age of the flower right there.
Yeah, it's a difference between you see the flower bud and you see the flower bloom. You understand? That thing takes time, right? You see the damn seed growing. Okay, no, it's time. No, man, you gotta wait till that thing grows, man. Wait till the flower blossoms, right? So that's what the Lord is saying. And you got brothers saying we're gonna get them young in the kingdom, right? I saw it first. Come on, brother. What do you mean you saw it first, man?
Weirdos, man.
Yeah, man. 10 years old. I saw it first. No, I saw it first. Come on, brothers. Right? Let's read on, man. 1 Corinthians. Madness in Israel. There's a lot of madness, man. 1 Corinthians chapter 7 and 37. Nevertheless, he that standeth steadfast in his heart, having no necessity, but hath power over his own will, and hath so decreed in his heart that he will keep his virgin, doeth well. So the man may say, okay, look, yeah, she wants to marry his time, but I want her to focus more on the Most High. That's good, Paul said. So then, he that giveth her in marriage doeth well, but he that giveth her not in marriage doeth better. See that? Because he wants these women to focus on the Most High first. That's their primary focus. Not in brothers' inbox, liking all their page. Can you break this scripture down for me? Can you break this down for me? Can you show me this? 3 in the morning. Can you break down Revelation chapter 19? Right? Can you come over? And a brother told me, his sister said, can you come over and break the scriptures down? And then he answered the door. She had she had a trench coat on. And the brother came with the Bible in his hand. She said, don't worry about that. We can repent later. And so guess what? The brother got out of there. Right? The brother did a good thing, got out of there. A lot of brothers would have got caught up in that thing. Yeah, we can repent later. So you got to be careful in this thing, man. Because Because Satan will sift you out through a woman and a man. He'll give you over to your own lust. Okay, all you think about is men. I'm going to give you over to a man right now. But he's not going to be the man of righteousness. Okay, all you think about is woman. All right, I'm going to give you the woman just for you, but she's not a woman of righteousness. Stop praying for a wife and praying for a husband. Pray for wisdom, faith, endurance, knowledge, and understanding, man. That's what the Most High is going to honor that. Did Solomon pray for a wife? He's king. Okay, now I need me a queen. No, man. He said, give me an understanding heart, man. And then the Lord gave him all of that stuff, man. You know? Reading on, verse 39. Here go the point. Here go the main point we got to get into. The wife is bound by the law as long as her husband liveth. But if her husband be dead, she is at liberty to be married to whom she will, only in the Lord. That doesn't mean spiritually dead. If your husband is physically dead, then you can marry another man. The man that you have to marry, he has to be in the Lord. Meaning what? Another brother in the truth. You can't marry a nigga in the streets once your husband died. Right? Or a celebrity. That goes back to Deuteronomy 25. Your brother has to raise up seed to his brother's wife, huh? Because we're brethren in the truth. So the woman whose husband dies, the man that she marries has to be in the Lord. Can't be Trey, right? Can't be Ray, Lil Man, Dookie. His name has to be righteous, man, according to the Most High. And he has to be physically dead, like Abigail and Nabal. Right? Nabal was off, so the Lord killed Nabal and gave his wife over to a better man. And the Lord can do that, man. I use that example all the time. A lot of brothers, you think you can do what you want to do to your wife. Hey, the Lord will kill you and give your wife over to a better man. Just wait, man. Wait and see. You know? Or the Lord can vice versa. The Lord can shut your womb like McCall, cut you out of your husband's life, and bring a better woman like Abigail to you, man. So this thing works both ways. You could damn disrespect your husband all day long. The Lord shut your womb, give you over to an evil spirit, and give a better wife to that man. That's going to cater to that man. But what's the word? Be a helpmeet for that man. Just like the man, if you're not on fire dealing with your wife in righteousness, the Lord will bar you and kill you and give her over to a King David, whose heart is perfect after the Lord. Right? Reading on 1 Corinthians chapter 7 and 40. But she is happier if she so abide after my judgment, and I think also that I have the Spirit of the Most High. See that? So again, Paul said, hey, look, all that can happen, but I want her to attend upon the Lord without distraction. And I think that's a wise thing. The Spirit is working on me to say that.
One last part. Somebody said something about the bill of divorce, right? And this is what the sister was going into, Matthew 19 and 9. Right, so we can go to Matthew chapter 19, and we can start at verse 7. Start at verse 7. Or start at verse 6. Right? 19 and verse 6. It says, wherefore they are no more twain, but one flesh. What therefore Yahweh have joined together, let no man put asunder. They say unto him, what did Moses then command to give a writing of divorcement and to put her away? He said unto them, Moses, because of the hardness of your hearts, suffered you to put away your wives, but from the beginning it was not so. Right? Because Israel, you're stiff-necked, man. Every little thing turned you to and fro, man. Right? He said, for the hardness of your hearts, right? The Most High gave you that time period for a small second, but from the beginning, Abraham stayed with his wife, Isaac stayed with his wife, so on and so forth from the beginning, right? So it wasn't like that from the beginning. You just write a bill of divorce and she go away.
Quick point. And what the brothers going into, the hardness of heart, that stiff-necked and that hardening your heart is really being unforgiving too. The Lord gave Jake over to that own unforgiving evil spirit, man. When your wife does anything wrong and you just put her away, she burnt bread or her dress didn't match her sandals, you just wrote her a bill of divorce, man. The Lord gave you over to your own lust.
Off, man. Verse 9, and I say to you, whosoever shall put away his wife, except it be for fornication, and shall marry another, committeth adultery, and whoso marrieth her which is put away, doeth commit adultery. So if the man gets tired of her, and he's like, look, I'm done with you, I'm out of here, and get another woman, he commit adultery, man. Right? You know that whoremongers and adulterers, the Most High is going to judge, man. So yes, a man commit adultery by putting away his wife and laying with another. Right? That's wicked. That's off, man. Yeah, that's it on that. We'll leave it at that. Only reason you can put away your wife is if she commit adultery, man. If she lay down with another man, you cannot deal with her anymore. Right? And that's law.
Right. And it could be another man. It can be another woman too. It can be a beast. It can be an ancestral relationship. All of that is fornication. Right? Because a lot of brothers, they see, oh, she was with a woman. Hey, but you know, hey, it is what it is. No, man, that's still adultery, man. Women commit adultery with other women, man. You got women, they'll try to make a move on your woman, man. Especially in Baltimore, you got these damn, you know, women out here, man. And you may kind of turn your head, woman popping up trying to get your woman number. Because this society is filthy, man. So that's like the brother said, that's the only way a man can put away his wife. No, for no other cause. Now, a wife could be in a situation where her husband keep bringing other women in the house, commit fornication, and you know she got to bear that. She has the right to leave, and kind of like we wanted to get her own spot or you know whatever, but she can't put away her husband, but she can get out of that situation, right? For her mental and her spiritual well-being, she doesn't have to be subject and suffer that wickedness, right? And the Most High can destroy that man and allow her to get another husband if it be His will. Anything else?
And know the sacrificial laws are not done away with.
Yeah, that's a deep lesson, right? But with that, we're going to close up, giving, of course, our honor and glory to Yahweh Shem Shai. Kwam Yasha! Shalom. I'm trying to finish the joint. I don't press that.